Welcome to the Joy of Coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 20 of The Joy of Coding. We did it. We made it. Fantastic. Joy of Coding episode 20. We're here. We did it. And if you'll notice behind me, so there's this weird effect happening right now where like part of me is transparent and part of me is not. Thankfully, my face is not. But I've got this green screen behind me. Thanks to Richard. I saw Richard a couple of weeks back. He had this green screen made for me. Thanks to him and his wife, we have this green screen now, and I've got stuff I can put behind me. And so the advantage of that isn't just that I can have like the Firefox logo behind me here, but if I go to my main screen, you can see more of what's around me. Like you can see more of like the stuff behind me, which hopefully will help some of the readability. I noticed that there's like this section here that's not working properly. I think it's probably because I've got like some bad lighting on it or something. Maybe I'll just roll this a little bit like that. Maybe that's a little bit better. It's just I'm using the sun like as my lighting. There's the sun's coming in, and that's not very consistent lighting. Blah blah blah. All details that you probably don't care about, but that's what's going on. I've got a green screen now. Yay! And it's episode 20, and I'm back from my hiatus. So let's get started. It's July 8th, 2015. Let me just. Yeah, it's July 8th, 2015. Reminder that no plan survives breakfast. I only kind of know what I want to do today. I have sort of a sense of it. Not entirely sure how we're going to go about it, but we'll see what happens. I had the occasion to have some teppanyaki over the break, and I feel like live hacking or the joy of coding is a lot like teppanyaki, which is when you go to this restaurant where they make the food right in front of you, and there's explosions and fire and sound effects and I feel like that's what the joy of coding is, so that's why I put this picture of teppanyaki in here. This episode is dedicated to Kill Will and Simon Guerder, who helped clear up some logic during the last, I should say, episode, not last week. Last episode, there was some logic I was trying to work out, and they both contributed some ideas, either via email or IRC or a couple of different channels. And I thought that was really great, so thank you so much to those two. This episode is dedicated to you. So, what are we going to be doing today? We are going to be reviewing some code, and then we are going to be working on some problems. So, the two things that I want to review are here. The first one is making the lightweight web theme web installer ready for E10S. There is an intern working on that particular problem, and that intern has a patch up, and I'm going to be reviewing it. And then black screen on a machine that the sanity test failed to detect. I actually reviewed this yesterday, but it's back for re-review, so I thought we'd do that today. And that shouldn't take us too long. Over here for coding, well, you know what? This is all. I'll explain when we get there. It gets a little complicated. So let's just get started. Yeah, I should probably not be wearing this yellow shirt. It's not really helping. I'm mostly a floating head right now. I hope that's not freaking you out. Okay, so let's take a look at this first thing that we want to do. We want to review this patch. So, making the lightweight theme web installer ready for E10S. This is being worked on by one of our interns, Jimmy Wang, and Dow was originally going to review it, but then he just sort of sent me the review request. So I will be looking at this now. The way that the lightweight theme web installer works is pretty straightforward. So what do I mean by lightweight theme web installer? Let me just demonstrate what I'm talking about. And I just opened a non-E10S window because it's broken in the E10S window, and I want to show you what happens when it works. So whenever I go to like, where do I have to go? Like Firefox lightweight themes. Yeah, I think it's just here. Yeah, it's one of these things. And whenever like I float my mouse over these things, the whole UI, like you you can't see here. I'll gesture. I can like here. Watch this. Oh, I disappeared. Where am I? Oh no, I've completely disappeared. How how did that just... I'm gone now. Um, one moment. I think I've gone off screen. Yes, here I am. What I wanted to do was point at this part. Notice how it's changing? Um, now I will put my head back. No, that did not work out as well as I had hoped. Uh, but let's not worry about it. So I won't do that moving around thing again. I think that was a bad idea. But you get the idea. The UI of the browser, we get these nice skins in the background, so you can like set these themes. You can theme your browser. You make it look slick. And this, the way this works is whenever you float your mouse over one of these items, we send an event in the web content, which is received in the parent. The parent does a bunch of security work, then extracts some information from that event about the image that we're going to be loading in the background of the browser, and then it goes and gets the image. And that's currently busted with E10S because events that are sent up from content are not immediately dispatched to the parent process. There's like the process barrier. You have to receive the event in the content process and send a message up to the parent, which is more or less like the thing with E10S. It's all about message passing and like receiving events in the child and receiving events in the parent and then just doing messaging back and forth. So that's what I suspect Jimmy's patch is all about. So let's take a look. So I'll be reviewing this with Splinter. Okay. So the lightweight theme web installer is what he is modifying. So here, yeah, we were listening to all these different events before. And now we only listen to this one event, tab select, to reset the preview. Right, because we want to reset the preview if the user like tabs away from the browser, from the page that they're on while they're previewing the they have their mouse floated over in the background changes. If they switch tabs, we want to like throw that preview away. So this looks right, except that there's some indentation problems here. Indentation that needs to go in. So here's where he receives messages. And we ignore messages from background tabs. Right. That's fine. And then we look at the different message names. So these message names are not generally... Okay, so first thing is... so far, we've had a convention of using camel case or like capitalized message names. So I think I'd prefer this to be lightweight theme web installer install, etc., etc. Is what I'm suggesting for some of these messages. And then it looks like he is just dispatching. Okay, and he's using .json. I would suggest you use .data instead of .json. I'm pretty sure .json is deprecated. And that's how he's accessing the fields of the message that like the information from the message that was sent up. But I'm pretty sure .json is not the way to go anymore. Same as above, read.json versus .data, and he does it again down here. And there's just general indentation problems. Also, indentation for these cases should be as follows. Case, lightweight, theme, web, installer, install. And then I like to do braces, but he doesn't have to, but I'll do it like this. This dot install request, and then that's probably enough to give him the idea, like that. Okay. So here we are handling the install request where we get the source URI, base URI, and data string. And before we were getting that stuff out of here, out of the event that was bubbled up from content, parse theme. What is parse theme? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? I feel like I'm missing some information. What is parse theme? Fly with theme when installer. That looks okay. While we're here, can we have lightweight theme web installer have an init function that sets these message listeners away the list of messages we listen for and the handlers for those messages are all in one place. Right, so here's the thing that is calling it a broker. Okay. Yep. And then he's modified a test. Okay, so there's some information that I'm missing, specifically what this is, because that is not what we used to do. So what is parse theme? Is there any reference to it elsewhere? A couple places where he's using, get theme from node is what used to do it, and maybe we don't need that anymore. Yeah, get theme from node is being removed. He just removed it. Because the node, what is the node? In this case, the node is the event target. And the event target... Okay. Right, so we're not passing up a DOM node anymore. So get theme from node is no longer necessary. That makes sense. But the information from the node, which is being sent up to us, we can parse it now. So that makes sense. Base URI, let, not var. I do not like var. Busted indentation. If not data, return. If this is allowed, source URI. So we've changed the definition of is allowed. How does that work? Is allowed, used to, look at the permission manager, figure out whether or not the URI scheme was HTTPS, and if it was, then it would test the permission for installing things. We used to ensure that the scheme was HTTPS. We should keep doing that. Make URI might also fail if source URI string is a nonsense URI, which we should probably account for. I suspect that pm.test permission, I suspect should account for, as in if we cannot create a URI, we should return false. No probably about it. We should return false. Okay. So we check to see if it's allowed, and if so, then we install it again. Indentation. Install it. Data is right. It'll be the same thing that we had before. Then he's changed some of the alignment here. message, make URI source, URI host, owner document, source URI, host. What is the difference between source URI and base URI? Between source URI and base URI is not clear to me. Can you please add some documentation to tell us about the difference? I'm pretty sure source, it's like there is the page that is requesting that we show the lightweight theme, and then there's, I have a feeling the, no, I don't know what base URI is. I thought I did. I have no idea. I think the old formatting allowed us to stay under 80 characters. Can we please go back to that? Runs indentation in here. Allow button text, allow button access key, callback. Yeah, there's a busted indentation in here. Let's please put these back. So we had a thing called preview window, which we don't need anymore, I guess. If not, is allowed source URI, return. Then let not var. We parse the theme. Again. Wait, didn't we just do this? That's installing the theme versus previewing a theme. If not dead, return this reset preview. So we use, oh, I see. We kept track of the browser window that was causing the preview to occur, and then if the page ever hid, like for example, if, I don't know, some JavaScript fired to make it go back or forward in history, then we would hide the preview. But we don't do that now. I suspect, I would hope that we're setting up a message in this case. So I hope that there is a page hide listener inside content.js. We will see. Okay, reset the preview. If source URI and not allowed source. Okay. We were checking whether or not there was a preview window. I guess that's not necessary anymore. Okay, that's probably fine. Okay, I think I'm done this file. It seems pretty straightforward. That I've reviewed. Okay, here's the broker. I don't think we call anything else a broker down here. What do we call them? Content.js. I think it's like listener. I think listener is a convention. Let's call this lightweight theme web install listener. What a mouthful. 2 L's in mouthful? No, just one. All right. Looks like sound is a 50 millisecond or so ahead of the video. Might be processing delay introduced by the green screen compositing. Not a big deal, but we should do a few adjustments after the show. Okay, sorry if you're watching this and like my voice is out of sync with the video and that's infuriating. I apologize. Yeah, okay, so he does have a page hide event handler in here. Send the message to reset the preview. And then internally we reset the preview window. We remove the event listener. What is... Okay. Because, yeah, I guess we do need to hold on to a preview window in case it's a subframe. We can't just assume it's the topmost frame. Preview window set by default to null up here instead of relying on Expando. If event type equals... Why not put this in the switch statement? Let nonvar param param.base URI equals event. Okay. Also, let's call this data and not param, as it will be accessed via the data property off of the message. So event target is Sunday swing message. This is when we set the preview window and we add a page hide event listener. If we reset, if we have a preview window, okay. Reset preview window, break. Let's put these inside of an init function on the lightweight theme web install listener and just call init from here. Whoop. Okay. And then over here, I should be playing some sound effects. I haven't played any sound effects yet.
Okie dokie.
There's a good one.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Browser, test utils. He's synthesizing a mouse on top of some element which I assume will like do the previewing of a theme. And he's using the like eTNS safe test utility here. That's great. Is this test disabled for eTNS, I wonder? I'll bet it is, since it's probably broken. Right, so we'll need to re-enable this test. Have you tested this test file with eTNS enabled? If so, you'll also need, maybe we'll also need to re-enable the test inside of the browser.ini file in browser base content test general browser.ini. Just remove the, what is it, skip if line. Okay, then down here, what used to happen was document location. There's all busted indentation in here. Execute soon. He synthesizes a mouse over the button. But he does this outside here. Wait, theme manager, current theme. Remove tab. Okay. I guess, and he got rid of something down here that I guess is no longer needed. I need to look at this test. Okay, so we are inside a thing called test lightweight theme switch theme. And he gets rid of this line under an execute soon line 95 because link, is link even being used? It was when we synthesized. Oh, I see. He doesn't need it anymore because of this. Okay, that's fine. How did this used to work? We listened to a page show. Once we got it, we synthesized a method over the link, and then we checked to make sure that the current theme is test. We wait for the lightweight theme web installer message, and that's why he executes soon. I see. How does this tag? How does install request work inside here? Do browser add-ons.js. Mike Taylor has apparently flipped a table, probably because of the 50 millisecond delay. It's probably too much for him. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. I'll play you a sound.
Mamma mia!
There you go. Here, hang on. I got more for you. Oh
yeah.
There you go. Let's see. I want to see whether or not. What was I doing? Oh, I was working on reviewing this test, and I want to see how it works whenever we install this theme. Like whether or not we fire an event or something that we can listen to instead of having to listen to this message. So whenever we do, like, what was it before? So he does lightweight theme web installer, and then over here lightweight theme web installer does install request. So install request. We could listen for the notification instead. Or was this test for the preview and not the... No, it's for an install request. Instead of listening for the message, can we not wait for the notification? Install notification instead. That should allow us to install notification instead, which is a consequence of the message being sent. That way, I think we can get rid of some of these execute soons. Okay. And I think that's my review. So it's a good, it's like, this patch is definitely on the right track. Jimmy knows what he's doing. Just a couple of like minor changes I'm requesting here. Nothing too brutal, but it's an R minus. But a big thank you. Like, this is good stuff. So I'm gonna say that R minus, but good stuff. Hey Jimmy. I'll use his IRC Nick. This is a good looking patch, and it's definitely on the right track. I think we might want, there are a few changes, style, nits, indentation things below. Please check those out and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks so much. Always thank your patch author. Publish. Review is done. Okay. So that's one thing off of my review queue. The next one is this. What time is it? It's 1:32. I'm probably going to cap it in an hour. You know what? I might not do this right now. I'll probably do this afternoon. I'd rather get to this thing, which is actually related to another intern. So this is the intern. This is related to the intern who is assigned to me. Her name's Ursula. She's fantastic, and she is working on making the new tab run remotely. What do I mean by that? If you go to the new tab page, and you're in like E10S browser on Nightly or something, so you're normally using remote browsers, but you'll notice that if you, like on normal tabs, if you look at the tooltip, it'll say -E10S at the end of the tooltip. And that's our way of saying this is running out of process. If you do it for a new tab, there is no -E10S suffix. And that's because this is running in the parent process still. And that's because this page does like certain privileged things that we don't allow the content process to do right off the cuff. It's like a lot of the new tab page assumes that it is able to like write to the disk and write to preferences and like do all sorts of crazy things. And that's not true when it's running in the content process. And that's what Ursula is doing right now. She's basically rewriting a good chunk of the new tab page so that it works by sending messages up to the parent in order to do all of its work, all of the privileged work, and she's more or less got it working. Like if I were to, I applied her patches. I actually haven't like tried them, but I've applied them. Let's see how it goes. I'm actually going to do a build because I've done the debug build, but I'll do a proper build right now. And as I'm building, I'll explain what the problem is. So here's the problem she's running into. We noticed this morning, and the reason I'm looking at this is because this is a really freaky bug, and it's not a thing that like I feel it's something that I feel might be low level, like down deep in Gecko, and is not something that I want Ursula to get bogged down with, because she's got some good velocity right now, and I don't want this like insano Gecko thing to slow her down. But let me explain what the problem is. So this is running in the main process right now, but pretend for a second that this is running in the content process. And one thing you need to know about the new tab page is that we do this like performance hack in order to make it show up quickly. Like I just hit the key combo to open another new tab, and like this thing came up fast. You might not be getting it based on like with the frame rate that you're viewing this video at. You might not be able to see, but like there is no load time for this page, and the reason for that is because we do this hack of preloading after you open a new tab page, or actually anytime you open any new tab. We preload a new tab page in the background and kind of hold on to it. So we like do all the computation for that's after you've opened up the tab. So for example, if I even if I were to open up like Reddit here and with my middle mouse click, so I opened a new tab, I would have kicked off a preload there if a preloaded browser didn't already exist. And that preloaded browser is like loading the new tab page. And that's great. That's great for performance. So the new tab page is nice and zippy. And that's the thing that you can actually, like, if preloading is a thing you want to mess around with, there's this browser.newtab.preload about config pref that you can flip, and you could turn preloading off and preloading on. So if I turned it off, then you'll notice that like there's this, it's blank and then it loads. Blank loads. Blank loads. And that's way different than what we had whenever we were preloading, which is like boom there, boom there. So like that's the difference. Now here's the problem. With all the message passing that we're supposed to be doing, what seems to be the case is that the preloaded browser, whenever it's sitting there in the background having not been used, it's supposed to be able to send messages up to the parent. And that's important for all sorts of things, but it's not. And I don't know why. So this build is done. Maybe I can demonstrate. I'll show you the symptom. I'll show you the symptom. Alright, so like, here's this new tab page that I've got. And right now I've already, like, when you first open the new tab page, we don't preload the browser. But having opened the new tab page, now a preload has been kicked off in the background. So this one is also preloaded. And it works just fine. Like, I can reload it and stuff. Now the next one that I open also works fine. What? The dealio. Preload. Preload is disabled, that's why. Okay, let's go back. So, open up a new tab page, and this one works okay. I can reload it. I open up another one. This page is busted. Like, I can't reload it for some reason. And various parts of this page don't work properly. And what's more, if I examine the URI of the browser, I say like current URI.spec, it thinks that this page is about blank and not, and like that's bad. And I don't know what the dealio is there. I see a bunch of errors in here. These may or may not be related to this problem. This might all be like just noise, but it also might be related to the problem. So the problem is, how come this preloaded browser in the background can't send messages up properly? That's the mystery. That's the mystery we're trying to solve. Alright. How are we going to do this? So I've got my Evernote here. Let's come up with some ideas. How are we going to solve this? So the first thing to realize, let's write down the problem. The problem appears to be that the preloaded browser, not all preloaded browsers, but any preloaded About New Tab browsers after the first preloaded About New Tab browser cannot communicate with the parent. And just writing that down, that makes me think that I wonder if something about that first new tab is ruining things, like that first preloaded About New Tab browser is ruining things for all the others. Like, what if that's hypothesis? The reason that the first new tab, preloaded new tab works, but not the others, is because the first preloaded new tab is somehow ruining things for future about new tabs. How do I prove or disprove that hypothesis? I guess I have to prove it to be true. You can't prove a negative. I have to prove a positive. Something science. All right. What are we gonna do here? Thinking. Um. What could it be ruining? Are the errors? What if we make it so that none of the errors show up? So that, like, all of the errors that are being thrown, let's just find a way of surviving. So let's try that. Experiment. We are going to eliminate all error messages via the hackiest means possible to see if that causes the influences the other preloaded about new tab pages. Okay, let's see. So what kind of errors do we see? We saw there's this deprecation warning, which I don't think we care about. These things. Invalid path component and new channel 2 is not defined. Valid path component. What line was that? Line 90. Go to line 90. I can't even. Where are the line numbers? I need line numbers here, people. Alright, fine. Line 90. Invalid path component here because joined when we attempt to join the subpath. So we get some kind of null in here. And we attempt to join the path of some kind. Because we're probably attempting to do something on the file system and it's not working. Alright. What's this? Sending message that cannot be cloned. Are you trying to send an XBCOM object? On line 250. Sending message that cannot be cloned. Are you trying to send an XBCOM object? Interesting. And that's occurring in send async message from in the parent. I think the parent is attempting to send a message and can't do it. Maybe I'm wrong. It's hard to tell. This might be being sent in the content process. That's one of the problems of having this remote page manager stuff is great, except that, like, it can be confusing. It, like, deduplicates a lot, but, like, it's not entirely clear. Some of it is used in both the parent and the child, and so it can get confusing. Sending message that cannot be cloned. You're trying to send an XBCOM object. What is that? So let's come up with a list. List of things going wrong. That. For remote page manager. This thing. This, what else? Invalid promise chain handling, not getting its rejection handled properly. It's probably related to this. What else? Ursula has just chimed in. She's watching, and she knows this information. She knows it back to front. So she is saying, about new tab line 63 throws that XPCOM object error. About new tab line 63. So this initialized grid, perhaps something in one of the links that we got cannot be sent down properly. All right. I want to know more about this error message. Let me go back to, is this my actual browser? It is. Okay, so what is this error message? This happens when we try and get the parameters for the message, and I guess we cannot do a structured clone of it. Which makes sense. That's exactly what it told us to do, or told us it was about. That's exactly what it was trying to tell us. So something in what we attempted to clone, it won't clone properly. Is that related? I have no idea. Let's start tearing stuff out. So Ursula says that initialize grid is the one that's causing that. So let's get rid of that. That's going to take care, that's going to get rid of a lot of stuff. That's basically going to blow away that's going to blow away our tab grid, or like our tiles grid. Browser base content new tab. Right? Or about new tabs under browser modules. Browser modules. So let's see. So what do I expect? I expect a busted new tab page, not having any tiles showing up, but I'm okay with that. Okay, so that got rid of a bunch of errors. Does it fix? It does not. I'm pretty sure it still thinks that gbrowser selected browser.current_URI.spec is about blank. So, red herring. So we get rid of this. Get rid of that. What is this? Promise chain failing over a rejection. This file shared front. Attempt to read the contents of a file, which of course the content process cannot do. Whoop. That's not helpful. How about... What? OS file, shared, all threads. What are you talking about? Oh, but it do. There's a worker. A worker attempts to do this thing. The worker fails to do a thing. The worker fails and we lose. So when is the worker spewed out? When do we make that happen? Async worker. OS file async worker. Uses this thing. We get a worker. So async front. Worker. Get worker. We try and get a worker. Why would we get a worker? Okay, well, we don't seem to try and get a worker again. Oh. And now, this is something that Ursula was telling me about as well. Setting breakpoints in the content process just like seems to break the world. Like the new tab page doesn't even show up anymore. This is horrific. These are terrible conditions to be working in. And I'm being pinged in IRC. I'm Pongish. Live hacking. Can respond more fully in about 40 minutes. And other people are messaging me, holy smokes, what is happening? Okay. What's next? This worker is being kicked off, and then it's failing to... You know, I have a hard time believing that this worker, this OS file shared front worker, has something to do with this. But we have to eliminate it. We can't just go by feeling. Let's see. What we're going to do to eliminate this one is we're going to find out where those workers are created. OS file, what was it? OS file async front. OS was one word, OS file. File async front, and then worker. So setting a debugger breakpoint did not work. But what I will do instead is I will dump, good old dump statements. Hello, are getting a worker, stack, and then just get a stack. So now we'll know how we got here. So this is in Toolkit Components OS file. Received, will respond in about 4 minutes. Okay, so let's try that now. We'll get a stack, we'll know why we got there. Wow, a lot of things are trying to get those workers. So this thing, base, stop moving. Promise worker. Data reporting service. So many things want this worker. We want the one where we saw a failure afterwards. But it's because we can't rely on the ordering here. We're on different threads. Oh, here we go. Here we go. On page visible and loaded. Report last visible tile index. This might have something to do with it. Page handle event. On page visible and loaded. Let's see where that is. On page visible and loaded. Report last visible tile index. And I was just a ping pong ball was just fired at me by David Bolter. This is what is going on. This is chaos. Ow! Wow! 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 That was good aim, though. Very good aim. On page visible and loaded. When the page is loaded, we call this thing, which calls report last visible tile index down here, which does the job of calling report sites action. So I'm just going to stop doing this in page.js. Assuming Ursula hasn't already gutted this part, I'm just going to return. Whoop. Browse base content, new tab. Hey, we'll respond. Okay, so let's see. Printing out that stack every time is pretty heavy weight. Alright, so that works properly. Still broken. And we did get rid of that. Oh, nope, still got it. Still got it. Promise chain. Okay. Maybe we should just like return here. I'm also gonna get rid of that stack. I don't think that's helping me anymore. That noise you're hearing is because someone let loose an elephant in the community space. Alright. So, what do we know about this error? This promise rejection, which might be a red herring. We might be beating down the wrong path here. Let's see. I load a new tab page. And then eventually that shows up. Okay, I do not think that this is related to the problem we're attempting to solve. I think this is tangential. And the reason I say that is because that error message showed up long after the page loaded. And this problem is like it manifests far, far earlier. So I think this is no longer a valid suspect. Let's take it out. So what's left? We've got this like other XPCOM object problem here. I got rid of the one that Ursula pointed out, so maybe there's another one. Let's find out. What's happening where? Here? Yes. What? We already hit it. 250. How did... Is the debugger just totally broken? What's going on here? What? How come the... Get... Hup. Would you... Would you... Oh. Probably because I'm in the wrong process. And we'll see if it works in the content process. And maybe it won't, because the debugger might be totally broken in here too. Let's see. Let's find out. It's a whole adventure. Line 250. Yeah, it's happening in here. The content process is attempting to send an async message, and it's failing. So what if that's the problem? Now I have no idea what that async message is, but I can find out. Whoop. Hup. Hoppa! Alright, so what do I want to do? Now I want to build... What do I want to build? This is under toolkit modules? Toolkit modules. Build toolkit modules. Now this might... I might see a whole bunch of console spew. We will see. Oh, it's not going to be in there. It's going to be back here. Okay. So let's get all this stuff out of the way. Load up a new one. So a couple of messages. Sending message, new tab, register page. I registered this page. New tab, initialize grid, and remote page load. Let's not send these up anymore. Register page and initialize grid. Where is that going to be? Browser, base, content, new tab. Grid. Grid.js. Ursula is watching and she knows where everything is. Perfect. So, I'm not even going to initialize this grid. We're going to return early. And what else are we going to do? We're going to register the page. Is that in here? Where is it, Ursula? Where's register page? I beat you to it. Ah! You know what? I bet if there wasn't any video delay, she would have beat me. I guarantee it. I think it was 100% my advantage due to video delay. The fact that all of this stuff I'm doing is being sent to the network and coming out the other end all slow. I think that's all I need to do. Let's just do that for sure. To be sure. So what have we got here? So we've got like unreachable code. That's fine. That's expected. This works fine. This doesn't work. Still does not work. So those did this. So this did not fix the issue. Those errors that we're seeing have nothing to do with the problem that we're seeing. Is the conclusion that I'm drawing from these experiments. We are not causing the messaging to go wrong by that. So, great. Next experiment. Experiment. See if there's any console spew from a debug build that might explain why messages are not being dispatched properly. Okay, so I have a debug build. Let me just make sure it's up to date with the new tab stuff that we disabled. And now let's run it. And maybe there'll be some clues in the console spew. Oh, we have 23 minutes before I start capping it. I want to ice this bug. I want to put it on ice. I want to move past it. We're going to figure this out, people. 23 minutes. I can't guarantee that we're going to figure this out, but we're sure going to try. So stuff is loading, it's taking forever, blah, 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 blah. Now, does this one work? It does. Okay, so let's separate out all of this console spew. I'm going to open another new tab page. And this one should be broken. It is. Okay, so what do we have in here? Let's take all of this stuff out. Nope. And let's examine it. So what have we got? Warning. The active tab parent does not match tab parent. That's from the IME state manager. I think that's not a thing we care about. This failed. Content utils. Where do we send the message? Sending message. New tab register page. Sending message. With about new tab. About new tab. See, what this should eventually, what should come after this is there is a sending message with about new tab. So browser child sending message with. So this is the thing that's supposed to send up the message with the data that we want to send up. How about this? What if this is going wrong? Sent. We're supposed to be sending this stuff up, and then that's supposed to be received by remote web navigation? It's remote? No, it's remote web progress. Location. Location change is supposed to receive it. And we've got this like loud log message. Like if we receive this, that's great. And we're apparently sending message with. We're doing this. We're sending message, and we should see Received on location change message in the parent, but we do not. So what does that even mean? I don't know. I don't know what it means. What could be going wrong? A remote web progress manager is created for the preloaded browser in the background. What if it's going horribly wrong? Let's do another experiment. So the preloaded browser is right here. We get the preloaded browser here. We create a preloaded browser right there. Let's do this. Browser.messageManager.add message listener. What's it gonna be? Content location change. Dump. Hacky message listener saw location change. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Hi-oh. Wait, I didn't have to say hi-oh myself. Hi-oh! There you go. There you go. Okay, so I don't think we need a debug build for this particular experiment. So hang on, let me write down what this experiment is. So in here, no, nothing interesting in here. Experiment. Oop. Set up a message listener directly to the preloaded browser that just dumps to the console when content location change is sent. Very simple, stripped down, without any other machinery. So that way, if something's gone wrong with the remote web progress machinery, we can hopefully sidestep that and just I want to see if the messages being sent. David Bolter is apologizing for missing me with the ping pong ball. That guy's a class act through and through. He's great. Dave Bolter's the best. So hacky message listener saw a location change when we expected it. Wait. On the preloaded browser. And the first preloaded browser works properly. No, it does not. The hacky message listener is seeing the location change. The message is being sent up. That's interesting. That's an interesting piece of data. Aha! We've learned something. We've learned something interesting.
Oh, yeah.
We just learned that the message for on location change is being sent up, but that the message listener is not in remote web progress, is not getting it for some reason. Okay, so now the question. Why is remote web progress not getting the message that is being sent up from the content, and we know it's being sent up? Okay, that's an interesting question. Let's think about it for a sec. We got 15 minutes. Oh man. Let's figure this thing out. Okay. Let's get rid of this. Wait. Have we proven anything? We always knew that it worked with the first preload browser. Maybe, let's, hold on, hold the phone. Let's close these browsers. And let's see it again. Let's make sure that we see hacking message listener saw location change. Okay, good. Good. Okay. So, all right. I'm more confident. Okay. So, why is Remote Web Progress not getting that message? Why is it not hooking up? How does Remote Web Progress work? And is there a way we can... All right, let's take a look. How does Remote Web Progress work? Remote Web Progress works actually in the browser binding. Here's a swapping the doc shells. Oh, hang on. It's in remote browser.xml. I want to do another quick check. This might all be explained by the browser, the preloaded browser having the wrong binding. Let's see if that's the case. Let's create browser, create the browser. Dump. Browser binding remote web browser? Or remote web progress? If this is undefined, we have our problem. And that's good. If this is not undefined, well, there's some wiring problems going on, but I have a suspicion. Browser buying remote web progress is null. Aha!
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think I know what's going on. I believe the problem is that the remote browser binding is not being attached properly to the browser, preloaded browser.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's great to learn. So why is that the case? Why is that the case? Actually, I have some techniques that we can use to figure this out because I had a bug earlier and a couple weeks ago where I had to deal with browser bindings. Or sorry, XBL bindings in general. Oh man, the lag is horrible. I'm looking at the preview here in the corner, and yeah, Richard, you and I, we definitely have to fix this. This is horrible, the lag. Okay, so yeah, what's the dealio? One thing I can do is I can dump out a list of all the bindings that are supposed to be attached. And where is that? I think I put it under like abandoned bugs. No, it's under active, but here. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Here, this stuff. Okay. Whoop. Equals equals here. We get these utils, and then we get the bindings. And now we can dump out the bindings. For what? And because URLs is not just a standard JavaScript array, it's this weird array. So I equals 0, I is less than URLs.length plus plus I. Let URL equal URLs.query element at I, and then pass it. Alright, spec dump binding URL. I think that'll work. So that should dump out all the bindings that are supposed to be attached to the preloaded browser. Nope, I just broke the world. What did I do wrong? Oh, that's a colon. That should be a semicolon. All right. That's what happens whenever you break tab browser. Is just the whole browser just looks like ass. It just explodes. Okay. Binding. That's interesting. It's supposed to have the remote browser here. So is the binding attached? Maybe not. Maybe it's... Maybe I should be attempting to access this first. Web progress, and then check if... Maybe I don't know what's going on. Web progress? Browser.webprogress. That should do the job of creating the web progress. I got 7 minutes! Ah! Okay. What's happening here? Aha! Aha! It's working. Okay. I see. Okay, I understand. I understand. I understand. No. That's not the problem. I was getting excited. This here is not the problem. How do I... No, not Apple. I need format, style, strike through. Boom. The problem is that the remote web navigation thing is not being constructed in time. The remote web navigation is constructed lazily. The problem is that the remote web navigation is constructed lazily, and the preloaded browser sends up a message with updates before the remote web navigation ever has a chance to be loaded and attached. So the reason that the messages aren't being received is because the remote web navigation is created too late. Okay, we know the reason. This is the reason. The reason. Okay, we should write this in the bug. Okay, and I never put the URL for the bug in here. Hoop, 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 hoopa. We did it, people. We figured it out.
Okie dokie.
That's not what I wanted to play.
Oh yeah.
There we go. We figured it out. With 5 minutes to spare. Holy smokes, we were so close. Man, when the pressure's on, that's when good stuff happens. Okay, so let's write this in the bug. The problem is that remote web navigation is constructed lazily and the preloaded browser is sending up its location change message before the remote web navigation has a chance to be loaded and attached. The reason the messages aren't being received is because the remote web navigation is created too late. So that's the reason. And now it's a matter of, like, now we just have to decide what to do about it. But at least we know why. We know why this is a problem. So, possible solutions. I won't try and implement any of these, but I mean, if Ursula, she's definitely watching this, here are some things to think about trying. 1. For the preloaded browser, make sure that remote web navigation is loaded when the preloaded browser is created. That's like the simplest solution. It's kind of hacky because it makes it necessary for us to know that the remote web navigation is lazily loaded. 2, what else can we do? How does preloaded browser create browser? Is preload browser remote? When we get it to load the URI, perhaps we can do it via remote web navigation. Because right now we're doing load URI, which goes through browser.xml. We're just calling load URI with flags, which is supposed to be using web navigation. What the hell? Unless tab browser. Load URI with flags. Here we go. Does this? What is that? What even is that? What is this underscore load URI with flags thing? I've got 45 seconds. Shared function used by both remote and non-remote browsers. XML bindings to load URI are redirected to the correct process. Must change process. It must change process. URI another process. That's wrong. We probably want to do the job in here. We need to figure out what we're doing in here for the preloaded browser, and then make sure that we load the URI via web navigation. That's what we need to do, I think. So let me write that one down. In browser.js's load URI with flags, we need to figure out what path the preloaded browser goes through and make sure that we load about new tab via web navigation. This will cause us to instantiate remote web navigation, which sets up the listeners. And Bob's your uncle. I think I greatly prefer 2 over 1. 1 is sort of a band-aid solution. 2 sounds more robust. Folks, wow. What an episode. A lot of flambe there. So we got to this, we reviewed this, we figured this thing out. We don't have a solution yet, but we have some ideas for some, but we figured out what was going on. Didn't get to this, but if you're interested in following along, the removing Kapow usage and printing, I have a patch in there already. I just had to like try some things. And wow, there we go. That's the episode. So before I finish, I want to call something out. When I was in Whistler, because I went to Whistler, there was a Mozilla event there. I met someone who has been live hacking, completely independent. Hadn't even heard of me, didn't know what I was doing, but she was like doing her own thing because she was figuring out how. I think she works on the A team, or maybe she's on. Yeah, I think she's on the A team. Release management, ops, not entirely sure, but definitely she was like on completely independent. She decided to learn Go. And so what she did to learn Go is like start to write a WebSocket server implementation in Go in order to teach herself how Go works and get used to the language. And she recorded it while she did it. And then she put techno music behind it. And I thought this was awesome. And her this is her Twitter handle if you want to follow her. And she's got like a whole series of these things with really sweet techno music. So here's part 1. Woo, that's quite loud. But yeah, you can watch her like tear it up writing Go. And if that's something that interests you, you should check this out. She is a phenomenal coder, and she does a great job. And if you're interested in Go, that might be right up your alley. And there was a bunch of people in Whistler who are also interested in live hacking, and I tried to like talk to a bunch of them and be like, yeah, you can use OBS and a green screen and do like really cool things and sound effects.
Oh, yeah.
And so I believe there are a couple of other shows kind of in the works. People are starting to like get a couple going. So hopefully you'll hear from me soon about new shows that are going to be airing on Air Mozilla, of people working on really, really cool things in the Mozilla community that you will want to check out. So just wait for that information. So that, I think, is it. If you are interested in live hacking, come talk to me or Richard in the live hacking channel in IRC. We would love to talk to you about it, give you tips, advice, tell you what the software is that you need, talk about all your options. You don't need sound effects. You don't even need your camera. I mean, look what Morgan was doing. She doesn't narrate. She doesn't have her face in the corner. She just blasts techno music in the background, and you watch her go, and that's perfectly awesome. That's exactly live hacking. And you can just sort of create your own show. So there's lots of choices. I think that's all I wanted to say. So I'm going to bring it back here. All right. Hey, and the delay is a little bit gone. I guess it compounds over the course of the stream, and whenever I change scenes, we go back to not being so delayed. Thank you so much for watching episode 20. That was a whirlwind. Episode 20. We did it, and I think that's all I have to say. I'm going to be no more big hiatuses. That last 2-week thing, I really missed doing this, so I'm glad to be back. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week with episode 21 of The Joy of Coding. Thanks so much. Bye.